Thank you, Sam and Jeo, for that introduction. And thank you, Kalon Project, for inviting me here to discuss a very important and timely topic, which is self love. I hope that after this episode, you'll feel inspired and uplifted, as well as you'll learn a lot of things, practical tips on how you can cultivate self love. So let me just share my screen with you. Beauty and love. What comes to your mind when you hear these two words? These two words are actually my favorites in the English dictionary. I think that these two are connected to each other because I thought that people can only love those who are beautiful. Growing up, I watched teledramas and movies of both international and local artists, so I learned about these three women: Talia from Rosalinda, Emma Watson from Harry Potter, and Bea Alonso from her teledramas and movies here in the Philippines. Looking at these women who are very beautiful, talented, and smart, I realized that I want to be like them. I want to look like them. I want to be like them. However, whenever I look at the mirror, I would realize how far I look like from them. I do not have that symmetrical face. I do not have that pointed nose. I do not have that healthy looking, volumized hair. I do not have that smooth, fair skin. I do not have that body, no, that healthy, sexy body. I do not have that. So I realized that I do not look like them. Therefore, I am not beautiful. And because I am not beautiful, I am unlovable. And this is my greatest fear, to not be loved, especially of those that I love. Social media even made it harder for us because it is easier for us to compare ourselves to others. We see on social media that our friends, our relatives, celebrities post their OOTDs, their makeup, their bodies, no? And we see how different we look like from them. We already have this insecurity in us. And it will be more difficult whenever other people, our relatives, our friends, would pit us against other people. Bakit hindi ka kamukha ni ganito? Bakit hindi mo gayahin si ganyan? Bakit hindi na lang ganito? So, ikaw rin mapapatanong ka eh. Madadagdagan yung insecurity mo sa sarili mo. And you will ask yourself, bakit sila maganda? Bakit sila maganda yung katawan? Bakit sila ang ganda ng forma nila? Bakit ako hindi? And you would feel that you are not enough. And you will believe that thought. Before, I thought that for a person to be beautiful, she has to be pretty, smart, talented, and rich. Kung meron lang isa doon na wala ka, hindi ka maganda. I thought that people will only love you if you are perfect. These beliefs have led me to be a doormat or to please other people excessively because I thought that if I will do everything that they will say, I will be liked or they will think that I am beautiful because I am kind. Second, I did not grab great opportunities because I am afraid that I will not be good enough or I will not do well in that particular activity or opportunity. Third, I stayed in toxic relationships because I thought that no one will love me except this particular person. So I stayed even if I did not feel good anymore in the relationship. And lastly, I did not try to make an effort to take good care of myself. I thought that ito na ako eh, hindi na ako maganda. Ano pa bang dapat baguhin? Wala na akong mababago. So, ganun ako ka-close-minded before. So, I did not want to change. However, a point in my life came wherein I grew tired of always pleasing other people. Because parang may feeling ako na parang nauubos na ako. And I always ask myself, sino ba talaga ako? Sinabi ni ganito na ganito daw ako. Pero sinabi naman ni ganyan, nakabaliktaran daw. Alin ba yung papaniwalaan ko doon? So, I really lost myself back then. And I really grew tired of doing it, no? Of pleasing other people. I also lived in fear for years. I do not want to go outside or beyond my comfort zone because I'm afraid that other people will not like me or if I will not be perfect. So I really hid behind my shell. Because of this, I realized that I have been stagnant. Hindi ako nag-grow in any aspect of my life. Walang improvement, walang growth. And I feel sad about it. And I feel exhausted because of it. So, because of all of these realizations, because of all of these thoughts, I realized na nakakapagod palang isabotage yung sarili mo. And I realized na I have been sabotaging myself all those years. So I asked myself, is this the life that I want to live? And I realized, ayoko. Ayoko mabuhay ng ganito forever. I want to take action. I want to make a change. I want to grow. And this is where I started researching about self-love. And luckily, online, maraming content about self-love. And before, what I would read is the content of Dr. Kristen Neff, and she has this tons of research about self-love. So before I share with you my personal journey, I would like to first discuss with you what self-love is. So according to Dr. Shaina Ali, self-love is the active practice of accepting, caring for, and encouraging oneself. It means recognizing your worth, being kind towards yourself, and fostering your growth through the course of your life. According to Brain and Behavior Research Foundation, self-love is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. So if we will review these definitions of self-love, we will see common and related words such as acceptance, care, encouragement, worth, kindness, growth, appreciation, and support. These are very beautiful words. According to Dr. Kristen Neff, there are three components to self-love. First is self-kindness, meaning taming your critical inner voice or treating yourself with forgiveness and understanding. Second is recognition of one's place in shared humanity, meaning it is knowing and acknowledging that you have the power to find and create your own purpose. And third is mindfulness, which is acknowledging yourself and not judging yourself. So, I want to ask you, what is self love for you? Defining what self love means to you is the start of your self love journey. So, this is very important. However, our life is as imperfect as we are. So, we will encounter roadblocks as we embark our self love journey. To me, I have three major roadblocks that hindered me in progressing in my journey. First is perfectionism. Second is comparison. Third is pleasing others. I have to recognize all of these roadblocks before I can progress in my journey. I have to accept and acknowledge that these things, these habits, hinder my progress in my self love journey. So I want you to answer also this question. What are the roadblocks in your self love journey? So my glow up story is a very personal one, and I actually love my story and my journey. I believe that we all have different aspects in our lives, and it is important for us to give attention to each of these aspects for us to grow to the best version of ourselves. So with me, I had four phases of my glow up story or my glow up journey. And I felt that I want to make a change. I want to improve and I want to glow up. I first decided that I'll take the physical aspect first. So before, unhelpful habit of not being willing to change anything on how I look like. Because I have this belief na pag may binago ko kahit isang bagay lang sa itsura ko, hindi na ako yung tao na yon. Kahit matutunan ko lang na mag-makeup or magbihis ng maayos, pag ginawa ko yun, hindi na ako si Cha. So I was so afraid to lose my identity. And this has prevented me to grow or to bloom, no, physically. However, eventually, I started recognizing that there is nothing wrong in change. Change is actually empowering. And because of this, I started engaging in self care activities for me to feel more confident about myself, for me to feel more healthy, for me to feel better or good. So, what I did to have my physical glow up is to eat a proper diet or a balanced diet. Second is to exercise. Third is to have better sleeping habits. Fourth is to know how to groom myself better and to practice basic hygiene and then choose the clothes that suit my body. So when I did this, sobrang nag-glow ako. Even my friends told me that, "Oy, gumaganda ka." And I realized that engaging in these activities are not selfish. Hindi siya nakakatakot. And you will still be you if you will engage in these activities. You will still be you, pero a more improved one. I realized that change isn't that scary. It could actually be fun. So after my physical glow up, I decided to take on a more challenging aspect of my life, which is my mental and emotional health. So before, I would have this unhelpful habit of thinking negatively as a way to cope. I thought that if I think negatively, I will be saved from failure, from rejection, and from pain. However, I realized that cultivating a mindset of hope and love is a more important thing to do. Instead of avoiding failures, negative experiences, we have to accept that it really happens. We have to accept that life has its positive and negative phases. So, how did I do my mental and emotional glow up? First is I tried to identify the things that are within and beyond my control. As I've mentioned in the start of this webisode, I could be quite a perfectionist. So, it was really difficult for me to let go of things that I do not have control over. Second is focusing on the present. Aside from being a perfectionist, I could also be an overthinker and a worrier, which affected my mental health a lot because I kept on focusing on what will happen in the future and I kept on thinking about the past, which did not go well. It made me feel unpleasant. However, when I tried to focus myself more in the present, to appreciate what I have, to appreciate the present, I felt happier. Third is exploring my strengths and weaknesses, goals, and values. Getting to know myself better was a challenge because I really didn't know who I am. I just defined myself based on what others will say about me. So it was really a challenge doing this. But I realized that I was doing it. It was quite fun, no, to get to know yourself better. I learned a lot of things about myself by taking personality tests like the 16PF or MBTI. And also, I get to observe myself that this is what I'm good at, and these are the things that I have to improve on. Fourth is refraining from judging myself for not being perfect. So, as I get to know myself, I learned about my strengths and my weaknesses. Before, I would define myself with these strengths and weaknesses, but I I realized how superficial they could be. Lastly, what I did is to refrain from judging myself for not being perfect. So, no one is perfect, and it's a fact of life that we have to accept. So, my third glow up is social. Before, I have this habit of pleasing other people. And as I've mentioned earlier, it was really an exhausting habit. So I really have to address my mindset so that I could be able to reframe my thoughts that I can still be lovable, I can still be a good person, even if I set healthy boundaries. So paano ko ginawa ang aking social glow up? First, I have to accept that I don't have to please everybody. I don't have to follow everything that they will say because everyone will have varying opinions. I have to cultivate my own opinion. I have to cultivate my own perspective on who I am. If we keep on following what other people say, we might lose our identity. So you have to know that you don't have to please everybody. They will all have something to say, be it negative or positive. And nasa sa'yo yon kung ano yung tatanggapin mo sa kanilang mga opinion. Pero you also have to build your own identity out of your own personal discovery. Second is believing that people will love me even if I am imperfect. So I realized that even if I am imperfect, someone or the right people will stay and love me and accept me from who I am. The same as with me, no? Even if imperfect yung mga taong mahal ko, I still love them. I will still accept them and I will still be supportive of them. So this is knowing that no matter how imperfect we are capable of loving and being loved. Third, third is realizing that setting boundaries is vital. It is okay to say no if you don't want to do something. It is okay to put yourself first. Sabi nga ng mga flight attendants, kapag tayo ay merong flight sa isang airplane, unahin muna nating suotin yung oxygen natin bago natin tulungan ng ibang tao. Sometimes yung idea ng sacrifice is really ideal, no? Ang ganda ng idea ng sacrifice. Pero madalas, kapag tayo ay nagsasacrifice, sarili natin ang naiaalay natin. And because of that, we get to experience or to get burned out by doing so. To the point na baka umabot ka sa compassion fatigue, yung tipong napapagod ka ng tumulong sa ibang tao or napapagod ka ng mag-care sa ibang tao because you are too exhausted. I believe that setting boundaries will prevent you from being tired or exhausted of caring for other people. And my last glow up was spiritual. So before, I believed that life is meaningless. Parang wala akong purpose dito sa mundong ito. However, nung makilala ko yung sarili ko, I also realized how I can contribute in this world. So I did my spiritual glow up by believing that I am created with a purpose, that God or a higher being created me to be an instrument of good in this world. I also realized that we can find, or if not, we can create our own purpose. This is actually why I created my personal passion project, which is the uplifting space. The uplifting space is an online platform where conversations about mental health, adulting, and personal growth are raised. So I created this passion project so that I get to educate other people or to share what I know about mental health and inspire them and uplift them and help them in any way I can. If you want to connect with me and for more mental health related posts, you can follow me on my social media platforms, which are on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm both at uplifting that space. So as a wrap up, I want you to remember that a person doesn't need to be perfect to be lovable and beautiful. We may also embark different self-love journeys from other people. Self-love is always associated with growth. Meaning, if you desire for growth, for improvement on yourself, you are cultivating or you are planting a seed of self-love. And lastly, identifying and addressing the roadblocks will help you progress in your journey to self love. So, with this, I want to encourage you to start embarking on your personal journey to self love. Start now, start early. I believe that it will be a fun journey and you will learn a lot about yourself. So, before I end this webisode, I want to have this little activity wherein I will mention or I will state few sentences that I want you to repeat after me. First is, I am worthy of love from myself and others. I am beautiful inside and out. I can do anything I set my mind to. My dreams are within my reach. And I am a person of worth and purpose. And I want you to believe all of those statements because they are true. With that, thank you very much.